What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. As Spurs came back from 2-goal deficit to win 3-2 at the Vitality yesterday against Bournemouth. And let's get straight into the player ratings. Let's start off with Hugo Loris. 6s all round from us. And apart from a couple of early saves in the first half from Tavernier, I think it was, I don't think he could have done anything with the goals. Really good finishes from Kiefer Moura. And after that, he was really untested. So just 6s, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Can't really add too much to that.
Yeah.
Quiet day for him, and that's it.
Yeah, Davidson Sanchez, on the other hand, Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. Completely all out at sea for Kiefer Moore's first. I mean, he was just completely drawn out of position and couldn't recover at all. And he just looked nervy, didn't really influence anything good in the game, and got taken off fairly early, and quite rightly so. Yeah,
it was bullied, I felt, as well, for that second goal with the header from Kiefer Moore. Wasn't able to contribute positively when Tottenham were in possession either. I thought his part, wouldn't say it was like massively astray or his passing or anything like that. It was just safe, not really passing forward enough, not getting forward enough as well, overlapping the wingers or midfielders or anything like that. So wasn't able to contribute positively to the team, and then defensively he was terrible. So not a good day for Sanchez.
Let's move on to Clement Lenglet. He played in the centre of a back three this time for the first time in his Spurs career. 6s all round from us. And he definitely should have done better up against Dominic Solanke for one of Bournemouth's goals. But apart from that, after that, I felt like he really grew into the game. I was quite happy with him, actually, in the middle. I thought he was controlling things really nicely from the middle of that back three. I would like to see him play a few more adventurous passes because we know we've got it in his locker. But I was actually quite happy with him there for a first time.
Yeah, there weren't too many switches of play from Lenglet, to be fair, throughout the game, like we see from Dier on a consistent basis when he plays in that central role. Definitely was outbullied by Solanke for the first goal and allowed him to lay off with Tavernier, which led to the situation we were in. So he definitely has to take his share of the blame for that goal. But as you say, he got really aggressive in that second half, was able to allow us to pen Bournemouth in for that second half as well. So he definitely improved. But yeah, I still don't think he's as good as Dier in that role just yet.
Let's move on to Ben Davies. 7s all round from us. First half, I felt he was struggling, especially with the pace that Bournemouth had on that side of the pitch. He did get muscled out a few times as well, but I thought he grew into the game second half, had a big shot from distance that could have gone anywhere, to be honest, and obviously got that goal, that equalising goal that was so vital and so crucial for us going on and winning that game. And it was a really nice header rising above everyone at that back post. So I give him a 7 for that.
Yeah, I thought Davies did really well in the second half to step up. I thought they were actually targeting him for a lot of the long goal kicks and stuff like that. I thought that he was sticking Kiefer Moore on Ben Davies, and for a bit of the time they were actually getting some joy. But I think second half Davies did start to step up and even start to win some headers off Kiefer Moore, and then that culminated in Ben Davies obviously winning the header for the goal. And I thought he actually improved in that second half and was getting forward well, providing an option, unlike the other centre-back, Sanchez, in that wide centre-back role. So pretty happy with Ben Davies. A bit of an improved performance after some indifferent displays of late.
Yeah. Let's move on to Yves Bissouma, starting in a middle three. 5s all round from us. And I just felt like he just failed to really get into the game, to be honest. Playing within himself, we didn't really see much of him. I want to see him, have a bit more authority in the game and put his imprint on the game, because we're failing to see that as of yet in a Spurs shirt. Yeah,
some nice touches and some decent shielding on the ball, albeit there were some occasions where he lost it a bit too cheaply. I thought he used his strength well, but again, doesn't seem the same Bissouma we saw at Brighton. Once he went to 2 in the middle as opposed to 3, he didn't last very long in that formation. He only lasted about 10 minutes before Conte had seen enough and taken him off. To be fair, he did get a kind of a pre-assist for Sessegnon's goal. Played a nice ball to Højbjerg, who obviously played the through ball to Sessegnon, who got the goal, but he was taken off shortly after that. Still hasn't acclimatised to that double pivot role just yet. So much to improve for Bissouma.
Let's move on to Emerson Royale. 3s all round from us, and I thought he was shocking, to be honest. Nothing in there going forward whatsoever, and I thought he wasn't as strong defensively as he usually is, and I felt he got bullied for a lot of the times in that first half, and not just good enough, and got hooked, rightly so.
Yeah. First of all, there was 2 standout moments for me from Emerson that summed up this game. First of all, there was the volley inside the area which went out the ground and landed in the Bournemouth car park. Yeah. Don't know what he's doing there. And then the second moment is the second goal. If you watch it back, he goes with his foot. I don't know what he is doing. The cross comes in. It's clearly head high because obviously Kiefer Moore heads it. He don't know why he leads with his foot. And if Kiefer Moore misses it, he probably gets a penalty for high foot from Emerson. So I don't know what he is trying. Really odd piece of defending. Obviously led to the second goal. And he was taken off for Perisic not long after that. But yeah, really poor display. He offered no quality going forward either. Poor.
Let's move on to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. 7s all round from us. It was good to see him start the game, although I felt like it took him quite a while to get into the game. First half, didn't really put in too much of a display. Can't really remember too many things that he was doing. But in the second half is where he came alive, obviously with a lovely ball to Ryan Sessegnon to lead us to start off that comeback. And after that, I thought he was just a really solid player in that midfield, trying to drive the team forward. And I was really happy with his second half display.
Yeah, underrated assist, by the way, because you had that ball. That pass had to be really well timed and had to get through a few Bournemouth players to find Sessegnon right on the run as well. Good timed run by Sessegnon, but under a very good assist by Højbjerg to play the ball at that right time with the right weight as well. And then yeah, he went from strength to strength after that assist. He nearly got the late winner just before we did with a really good effort from the angle on the left hand side, which just a smidge over the bar. But obviously was pretty good overall in the game.
Let's move on to Ollie Skipp. 6s all round from us. It was a strange one from Ollie Skipp because obviously he only lasted 45 minutes. Conte did hook him at half time, but I don't think he was that poor in the first half. I just think we needed a bit of a tactical shift, is why he went off at half time. He was providing a really good option all the time getting forward. He played more or less like a right winger, to be honest, throughout the game with little quality in the final third. You got to say that. He did test the keeper in the latter stages of the first half, but yeah, I think when you've got a player going forward as much as he does, I think you need to have a bit more quality in that final third.
Yeah, he had one shot at the near post, which forced the keeper into a save. But other than that, couldn't really get involved offensively to really make a difference in the Bournemouth box. And it just got me feeling if we're having Skipp that far forward, you might as well have a more of attacking player there. And that was a bit of a weird decision. I understand playing the 3-5-2, and I understand also having a player given a bit more license to get forward. But he was playing his average position was pretty much like a right winger. So if you're literally having someone there in that position, then you might as well, for
basically
me, have an attack
3-4-3, wasn't it, in the first half?
With Skipp there. So that didn't make sense to me. But I didn't think he was the problem at all, and he was probably hooked at half-time, not because of his specific performance, but because he was the one finding those positions, but he wanted a more attacking player in those positions. So it was more of a tactical switch than personnel. So I don't think he was bad, really. I thought he linked up well also a few times with his teammates. So I don't think it was bad from him. It was just a purely tactical switch.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Ryan Sessegnon. Started off at left wing back, ended off at right wing back. 7s all round from us. And I thought it was a much improved display to what we saw against Newcastle, that's for sure. First half, I thought he was getting into some really good positions without really putting a good ball in. But it's credit to him for getting in those positions. But I want to see more from him in the final third. And we saw that at the beginning of in the second half, obviously with a really nice finish into the bottom corner. Got a ricochet maybe off the defender, but still was a really nice finish hitting the inside netting. And then after that, he moved over to the right wing. And I thought actually he played fairly well there, and I'd like to see him there maybe over a longer stretch of time, but he did get taken off towards the end of the game. But I thought it was a much improved performance from the Ryan.
Yeah, and I thought he was about to be taken off, and he got a reprieve because of that goal. But to be fair, he probably earned that reprieve because I thought he got well involved in the game after that goal, and it was a real good run and finish from him. We want to see more of that from Ryan Sessegnon. Unfortunately, haven't seen enough of that. On the right-hand side, he was also decent. He, again, attacked the wing-back a few times, got in behind a couple times, and some nice cutbacks, but was eventually taken off with about 10 minutes to go or 5 minutes to go for Bryan Hill, with Lucas moving to wing back. But I was fairly happy with Ryan. Good display.
Let's move on to Sonny. 7 from Sim, 6 from me. I felt like he was pretty quiet for the majority of the game, but like grew in influence towards right at the end, the last 20 minutes when Spurs really were dominating the possession and dominating the game, to be honest. I did think he grew in influence as the game wore on. For me, where he got let down, to be honest, was a bit of his set pieces. I know he scored from one of his set pieces right at the end when Bentancur scored, but he must have taken about 15 corners yesterday. Literally 15, and a lot of them were very, very poor, where you're thinking he should be doing a lot better from them. But I felt like he went missing throughout a lot of the game, but did grow into it right at the end, where you saw him have a couple of chances and a couple of crosses into the box.
Yeah, I thought he was decent. In the first half, he had a couple of moments where one of them he swung in a really great ball with his left foot, where he hit the post from, and then on the stroke of half time he forced a decent save from the keeper with a long range effort. Second half, I think first half his set pieces were disappointing, but I did think they improved in the second half, and they were getting into much more dangerous areas. Obviously, it is frustrating when he does hit them occasionally or sometimes more than occasionally into the near post, into the front man, and they're not great. But I did think they did improve. He took some really good crossing free kicks, which were causing dangerous. Obviously, he had a free kick on the edge of the area, which wasn't great, right into the wall.
We were celebrating him taking it as a goal, and then he does that.
Yeah, it wasn't great, that free kick. But he did obviously end up getting the final corner, which led to Bentancur's goal. So I think all in all, he was a positive contribution from Sonny, albeit he wasn't too much of a threat on the Bournemouth goal.
And last but not least from the starting 11 is Harry Kane. 6s all round from us. I mean, he was trying his best with his link-up play all day long, dropping deep and really trying to bring others into play. But his efforts on goal and his chances on goal were few and far between. I think his first effort on goal coming only like with 15 minutes to go or something like that, which you expect Harry Kane to really stamp his authority a bit more in the game. And I felt he went missing a bit yesterday.
Yeah, he was definitely a lot further forward. He was in the box a lot, and a lot of crosses were swung his way. And he was pretty much snuffed out by the Bournemouth centre-backs. They were the ones winning it in the air. On the positive side, I felt like he drew a lot of attention from the Bournemouth defenders, and a lot of the times when he wasn't able to get there, it did fall to a Tottenham player and allowed us to sustain attacks. So that was good. But obviously, with a player like Harry Kane's quality, you want to see a bit more from him in front of goal and setting players up. And it wasn't his best day, but he wasn't horrific either.
Let's move on to Lucas Moura, first of the substitutes, coming on at half-time. Sim gives him a 7, I gave him a 6, and he definitely provided good energy, application and desire to the team, and he was going on some really nice runs to help the team drive forward, and I think he was a driving force in Spurs coming back into the game yesterday. Yeah,
and I think it was a positive cameo, and he was actually doing the simple things a lot better than he has in previous games, just knitting things together, getting some crosses in the box, doing link-up play with overlapping wing-backs and whatnot. So I was pretty happy with him, and it allowed us to be more of a threat in that second half. So better cameo this time from Lucas.
Let's move on to Eric Dier. 7s all round from us. Came on and played right centre back, and he did a really good job for the team getting forward. And we talk about Eric Dier, and we talk about that role at central centre back. Probably exerts the least amount of energy, and fatigue is catching up to him and stuff like that. So that he was definitely exerting a lot of energy yesterday, getting up and down the pitch, and I felt he was getting in really good areas and getting really good crosses in the box. So big up to Dier yesterday. It's much improved from the last couple of games.
Yeah, and I think the main thing he did was allow us to settle down the defence, because I felt like Bournemouth were getting too much encouragement and too much joy out of Sanchez before that. So the fact that he was able to come and stabilise things and give us a platform to just dominate those last 30 minutes and hound Bournemouth into their half, keep them there. That was really positive. Obviously, he did get forward as well, and I thought his distribution obviously much better than Sanchez. More willing to get forward as well. Nearly got an assist for a pullback to HeungMin, who forced a save out of the keeper. So much better performance from Dier. Really good.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Rodrigo Bentancur. Tim gives him an 8. I gave him a 9, and he came on with half an hour to go. And it's no, it's as soon as he came on, we completely dominated that midfield. We completely dominated the game, wave after wave of attack, and he was central to it all. I mean, he made the midfield look so much more comfortable. I felt like he raised Højbjerg's game as well. Got that winner right at the end with a lovely finish after having that first one blocked off the line. So I thought he was head and shoulders above everyone on that pitch, and he is such a great display, and he's like building and building onto these displays now. Not only that, but he's actually taking authority in the game, and he's really a standout performer at the moment.
Yeah, I was really happy with Bentancur. He really came on and allowed us to control those last half an hour. He was the one setting the tone in midfield with really clever passes forward, good dribbling ability, press resistance as well, and he had a bit more responsibility in his actions in regards to driving the team forward. And that was really positive. I thought it was a fantastic cameo. He was head and shoulders above all the players when he was on the pitch. And I think the goal as well, obviously when you look at it, it looks like an easy goal from the 6-yard, from the penalty area, but it was a crowded penalty area. He needed composure to get it into the back of the net there, especially.
He had 4 or 5 players in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. He had to get it high, but not too high, and he just side foots it, caresses it into the top of the net beautifully, and really underrated finish from Bentancur, because most players in the Premier League probably snatch at that, and it either goes into a Bournemouth player or over the bar. So he did really well to just have the composure in that moment to slot it home, and it capped off what was a brilliant cameo from him.
It really was. It really was. And when we signed him, we heard from Juventus fans that he doesn't take too much responsibility within the game, a lot of sideways and backwards passes, and that's maybe what we saw in his first season or the start of this season. But now we're really starting to see him come into his own and influence the games, which we always hoped he would do. So big up to Bentancur. And last but not least, Ivan Perisic, 7s all round from us, came on again with about 25 minutes to go, and I thought he was so dangerous when he came on. He was always an option on that left-hand side, getting really good crosses into the box. His corner obviously resulted in a goal when Ben Davies rose above everyone else, and I thought he was just a constant menace and a constant threat. And I, for one, have been talking about how I want to see him do more, and I think I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, and I thought he got his 6th assist of the season as well, which is pretty good going before the start of November. Obviously, his set pieces, as usual, really, really dangerous and causing trouble in the Bournemouth area. Obviously, one leading to a goal. And I thought on the left-hand side, a lot of the time, he was either winning corners, which is clearly quite useful considering how good we've been from corners this season, or he was getting crossed into the box and causing a bit, causing trouble for the Bournemouth defenders for something to deal with. So I thought it was quite good from Perisic yesterday coming off the bench, and I want to see more of that.
Yeah. And last but not least, Antonio Conte, 7s all round from us. I mean, we need to find answers for these first halves, because they're clearly not good enough at the moment. To go 2-0 down to Bournemouth as well, we just need to be doing a lot better. I'm not sure whether it's down to Conte. I mean, I assume it's down to the quality of personnel that we do have, but we do figure out ways to win games and to get through games and to come back into the games after not starting them really well. But we definitely need to come up with an answer. And I thought 3-5-2 probably wasn't the way to go. And credit to Conte, because he saw that and he changed things at half time, and much to the team's advantage, because we went on and completely battered them, to be honest. So yeah. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, so he made the positive changes which won the game. Unfortunately, look, whether he felt he had to make the changes in regards to the game on Tuesday, so he had to rest players or not. Look, that's up to I don't know behind the scenes, but he did make those changes, and obviously we started the game really poorly, and he needed to bring on those players to save us. But to be fair, a lot of things maybe he wouldn't have done before. For example, putting Dier right centre back. Putting maybe Recession on the right and Perisic on the left. He made a change at half time, bringing Lucas Moura on, which was positive. So he definitely proactively changed the game, and for those last half an hour we were completely dominant and we deserved it. So fair play to Conte. But definitely not perfect, seeing as we shouldn't be in a position where we're 2-0 down to Bournemouth. So he's got to think of why that was the case. But obviously he managed the game well in the end.
Absolutely. All right, well, that is our player ratings for the 3-2 win at the Vitality yesterday. Let us know what you thought of our ratings. Let us know your ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.